we're now in Hurdal. It's a place where I've bought a house and a potential new studio space. It's quite remote. We're an hour outside of Oslo now. I'm gonna build a desk and some shelving solutions here. So this will be my main spot overlooking the lake. I'm an artist, but I work with code mainly as a medium and computational techniques. I've kind of been writing code for most of my adult life, even in my early teens. Honestly, I'm not sure I could do anything else at this point. Being an artist is kind of the only category of work that can contain all the different things I'm interested in. I see it as an avenue for kind of scientific inquiry as much as, you know, kind of poetic inquiry. This project is called Delta, you know, for obvious reasons, but it actually has a double meaning. It's called Delta in Norwegian, which means participate. The main idea is to start out here on the street level and have the lights flowing inwards. So we're kind of like pulling people into this urban space that wasn't open to the public before. Actually, there's like 3D sensors all around this block. So we are actually modeling how people move in the space in real time. And that is also affecting how the lights move through the space. It has become a bit of a landmark project in the city of Oslo. And I used to be a skateboarder, and this has become a very famous skateboard spot as well. So that's kind of a cool bonus. One of the more successful projects we did at Void. We have these sculptural benches that we designed, or we designed 3 of them, but we ran out of money, so there's one bench. This was specifically inspired by river deltas and these sort of like Icelandic volcanic rivers of lava, basically. I'm happy to be around running water for most of the time. The type of work that I do is very inspired by nature. A lot of the algorithms that we use to build these complex systems, they are inspired by flocking algorithms, how birds fly in relation to each other, growth algorithms, water, smoke, all these phenomena that you can see out here. I have a certain way of looking at the world through the lens of algorithms, walking around looking at different behaviors in nature. You know, I'm trying to sort of pin down how would I model this behavior, right? And often it's not that I'm able to really copy it one-to-one, but just the act of trying is actually a very powerful technique in my work. Scientists and mathematicians have been trying to model these natural phenomena for centuries, and as programmers today, we can tap into the potential of using these, you know, sometimes quite simple algorithms to model complex natural phenomena. And yeah, actually, this coral reef that I brought home from Indonesia is a really good example of how nature ends up finding the same types of algorithms that we develop in our own sort of artificial systems. So this is a very clear example of what's called a Voronoi diagram, a way of finding the most optimal cell-like structure connecting a set of arbitrary points on any type of surface. And this algorithm is used all the time in everything from engineering to architecture and generative art projects. You know, this view is just an endless source of inspiration. Right now, we're in my studio in the city in Oslo, where I work half of the time. So this project is all about waves propagating through different mediums. It's an installation inspired by this physics experiment called the double slit experiment. Basically scanning a basin of water, picking up the physical waves in water that you create by touching it. That is then turned into audio waves that you can hear, but it's also turned into light waves that are being projected back through the water itself, and how we can create a feedback loop, putting the human in the center of that experience. Right now I'm working on this project for a company called Sanity, and the result of this 2-month period of work that we're doing together will end up as an installation that will be shown at their conference in New York. So this is actually the first project where I extensively use AI in real time. We kind of will let this thing loose and we'll see what it ends up doing. Hopefully it will work. Hopefully. So the idea behind the software that's controlling the installation is that we're transcribing live everything that's being said on stage, and that information is being fed to a couple of LLMs that are kind of looped back on each other, and that creates a sort of internal thinking. And the LLMs are also instructed to generate imagery, like mental imagery that fits the themes, and all of this in the end will be fed back to these screens. Hopefully the agent will become part of the conference in an interesting way, and I'll be also giving a talk here, which is very nice because it will let me talk about the installation itself while giving people a first-hand view of what's going on. Yeah, I am nervous, but but there's no time to think about that now.
Welcome to the stage, Bjørn Staal.
The main reason I'm here today is to talk about Membrane, which is the name of this installation that you're seeing over here. Thank you. It's a multi-layered art installation exploring and visualizing the inner workings of an artificial mind in real time. In plain nerd language, it's an AI agent that has been given a body. The idea came from this core question: what would it look like to be inside the mind of an artificial intelligence? And how does an artificial mind behave when given the freedom to continuously think, reflect, and respond to its environment? So the core behavior of the agent is that it has an internal stream of thought that is continuously running, and it's an internal dialogue of sorts produced by chaining LLM calls together in a self-referential manner. We start out with a pretty huge system prompt. You're this scattered mind, you have an internal chain of thought. It can reflect on its environment. We're in real time transcribing everything that is being said on stage all throughout the day. So if you've been looking at it from time to time, you might see that it has thoughts related to what's been recently said. So for all of the geeks in the crowd, here's the good stuff, how everything is put together. I take the content of the thought, and then I ask GPT to create a more detailed prompt. And then I'm using seed dance or flux to generate an image. And then from there on, I'm generating a video using that flux reference image and another more detailed prompt for the video. And then all of this data is stored in Sanity, actually, in real time. So Sanity becomes sort of the model for everything, pulling everything through Sanity and then listening for updates in Sanity. So that becomes sort of your truth, and which made it really nice to work with, because I could also just go into Sanity and do updates there and then see how it worked out, and also follow along with different prompts and results of prompts while I was developing this. So it just became a very, very powerful way to keep this agent, keep all the memories intact, both for me and for the agent itself. So here we are in Sanity. You can see as I'm talking, it's constantly posting these sentences, storing them in Sanity. So there's a lot here. You can see here the videos that are generated. Here's the image, video, blah, 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 keywords. Luckily, I met someone from Sanity, and they asked me, like, are you on a pro level? And I'm like, no, do I need that? And they were like, yeah, I think you've generated like 7,000 documents the last hour. So if I'm very lucky, live demos are always a bit of a problem, right? But if I say purple and green, so much.
I want that art project in my apartment right now. That was one of the coolest things I have seen.
It's just fascinating. I noticed in the middle of the event that it was actually listening to the words people were saying and responding back. So I was watching it honestly the whole event whenever, but I just, yeah, that was definitely a standout moment.
Yeah, I don't think I'm great at predicting the future. I have some hopes for the future, and my hope is that we keep using technology for the things that enrich our lives instead of trying to make everything that we love doing obsolete. And to me anyway, so far it's just been very inspiring actually to be part of a kind of a new era of technological development, you know, using it for the right things, but keeping track of the things that matter to us as well. There's so many unexpected things that can come out of working with complex systems, because you only kind of control the seed, the algorithms themselves, but the result is often irreducible in actually a strictly mathematical sense. So there's no way of predicting the behavior of the system before you actually see the system play out. So in a sense, you're creating something, but in another sense, you're kind of discovering something. That was a good one, actually.